think about my dad a lot. Between me and my sister, I was the tomboy in the family. He died in 2003. He was 46. I didn't realize it till much later, but a lot of him became ingrained in me. His strength, his toughness. Always wanted to impress him, have him pat me on the back and say, "Job well done, I'm proud of you." And I miss him. His words to me were always, "Toughen up, Lenny." I wonder if I'm tough enough now. That same year that my dad died, my uncle had a very tragic gas explosion in his home. He lived for a few days afterwards and then died from severe burns while I was holding his hand. I ran on and off throughout my life, but never seriously until about 5 years ago. I came to running as a means to combat depression. I had very severe depression, sometimes laying in bed for days at a time, unable to move. Things really came to a head probably about a year before I started seriously running. I had a very serious kidney stone problem and was on all kinds of pain medications. Ultimately, that led to addiction. I decided enough was enough. And then my sister introduced me to fitness and then running. And I had a new addiction. From the very first race I ran, it's always been about winning, at least winning something. I don't know how to not race competitively. I ran my first race, which was a 5K, of course, 2 months after I started running. And I went to the awards ceremony afterwards thinking, I'm gonna win this thing. And I quickly realized as they were calling off names that a time of 27, 28 minutes was not exactly a winning time. I was pretty pleased with myself, but I went home thinking I'll never enter a race again that I don't think I have a chance of winning. Over the next couple months, I put everything into winning my first 5K. As soon as I learned that people ran 100-mile races, I just knew that I had to be one of them. Even though I had absolutely no idea how anybody could do such a thing, I just knew I had to get there. I started running 20-mile long runs every weekend, just fantasizing about ultra running. In spring 2012, my mother and sister and I had decided to all run our first marathon together. In training for that, I ran a 15K in 1:07, and that was all the shortest races that I ever ran. 8 months after I started running, while I was training for my first marathon, I was diagnosed with a perforated bowel, with which I was given a 12% chance to live. I was absolutely devastated. All I could think about was running that marathon. I was knocked out of running for several months, which was the only thing I really cared about. By the time I recovered, the marathon was only 2 months away. I trained for it, and I PR'd my marathon with 3:53. And then I was done with that. It was time to run ultras. There's a peace in running, a solitude. There's a sense of finding myself. And sometimes I feel like I found it, and sometimes I feel like I just need to go for another run to find it. But it's a peace I've never experienced before in my life. And all I want to do is keep running.